It began with a scream in the dark, or so the neighbors later claimed. A single cry from somewhere in the quiet hillside neighborhood of Perugia, Italy, shortly after midnight on November 2nd, 2007. Sharp, sudden, then silence. No one called the police. In a sleepy university town where ancient cobblestones met student pubs and espresso bars, odd noises were easily dismissed. Just another night, until morning came. Amanda Knox was the first to notice something was wrong. The 20-year-old American student, just weeks into her study abroad adventure, returned to the small apartment she shared with 3 other women. 2 were away for the holiday weekend. Only one, Meredith Kercher, a British student from South London, should have been home, but the front door was ajar. The bathroom had drops of blood in the sink, a smudge of red on the bath mat. Someone had used the toilet and not flushed. Amanda called out for Meredith. No answer. Amanda's boyfriend, Rafael Salicito, was with her. They had spent the night together. He followed her inside and agreed. Something wasn't right. A window in one of the flatmates' rooms was shattered. Glass littered the floor beneath a tidy bedroom. Too tidy, perhaps, for a break-in. Meredith's door was locked. Amanda knocked, called her name, then banged harder. Still nothing. They called the police. 2 officers arrived, not from the homicide division, but postal police. They had come looking for a missing phone. The real investigation began only after they forced open Meredith's door and found what lay beyond. Meredith was dead, half naked, face down under a blood-soaked duvet. Her throat had been cut so deeply she had nearly been decapitated. Blood splattered the walls, the mattress, and her undershirt. There were signs of a violent struggle. She had fought. Her room was in chaos. Overturned furniture, scattered clothes, an open wardrobe. Her phone keys and credit cards were missing. Within hours, the small apartment became the center of one of the most sensational murder cases Europe had seen in years. But the horror of the crime itself was quickly overshadowed by the faces involved, and especially one face, Amanda Knox. She was young. She was American. She was different. And in the eyes of the Italian media, that difference became a canvas for something darker. The press dubbed her Foxy Knoxy, a childhood nickname from her days on the soccer field, twisted into something provocative. Italian tabloids ran headlines painting Amanda as cold, promiscuous, cunning. They published photos from her MySpace page, snapshots of her holding guns at a museum exhibit, kissing boys at parties, making silly faces. To many Italians, it was evidence, not of guilt necessarily, but of character. She wasn't grieving the way they expected. In the days after Meredith's death, Amanda was seen kissing Raphael outside the crime scene. She did a cartwheel in the police station hallway. She couldn't remember timelines. She gave inconsistent statements. At one point, under intense and prolonged questioning, without a lawyer, in a language she barely understood, Amanda told police her boss, a Congolese bar owner named Patrick Lumumba, might have killed Meredith. It was a false confession, one she retracted almost immediately, but the damage was done. Patrick Lumumba was arrested, humiliated, and later released. Amanda's credibility collapsed. Italian prosecutors now had what they thought was a love triangle gone wrong. Or worse, a drug-fueled sex game that spiraled into violence. Amanda and Raphael were arrested. Both denied any involvement. But the Italian justice system, unlike the American one, allows suspects to be held for months, even years, without formal charges, especially in serious cases. And in Amanda's case, the longer she stayed behind bars, the more the story grew. Meanwhile, forensic investigators combed the scene. They found little hard evidence tying Amanda or Raphael to murder, but they did find fingerprints, footprints, and DNA belonging to another man, Rudy Guide. Guide was an Ivorian national who had been living in Perugia illegally. He had a reputation for petty theft and had previously been caught breaking into homes. When police tracked him down, he had already fled to Germany. They extradited him. His DNA was found inside Meredith, on her clothes, on her body. A bloody handprint of his was discovered on a pillow. He admitted to being in the room that night. He claimed he had gone to the bathroom and returned to find Meredith bleeding. He panicked and fled. Gede was tried separately in a fast-track procedure. He was convicted of sexual assault and murder and sentenced to 30 years, later reduced to 16 on appeal. But prosecutors insisted he hadn't acted alone. Amanda and Raphael, they argued, were there too. It was a collective crime, a twisted conspiracy. In 2009, Amanda and Raphael stood trial in the Perugia courtroom. The prosecution built its case not on forensic evidence, but on motive and behavior. Amanda's supposed jealousy of Meredith, her alleged obsession with sex, her unusual post-murder demeanor. The prosecution pointed to a kitchen knife from Raphael's apartment, which had Amanda's DNA on the handle and what they claimed was Meredith's DNA on the blade. They pointed to a bra clasp found in Meredith's room, which supposedly contained Raphael's DNA. But the knife had no blood. The bra clasp had been collected 47 days after the murder and was handled improperly. No blood or fingerprints belonging to Amanda were found in the room where Meredith died. Despite this, Amanda and Raphael were convicted. Amanda was sentenced to 26 years in prison, Raphael to 25. Back in the United States, the case exploded into a transatlantic media war. American coverage portrayed Amanda as the innocent girl next door, railroaded by a corrupt and archaic legal system. Italian media doubled down on the image of Amanda as manipulative, sexual, and dangerous. Supporters raised funds, wrote op-eds, and flooded online forums. Celebrities took sides. The U.S. State Department monitored the case. Amanda became more than a suspect. She became a symbol, depending on where you stood, of either injustice or privilege. But the legal saga was far from over. In 2011, Amanda and Raphael appealed their convictions. This time, 2 independent experts were appointed by the court to re-examine the forensic evidence. Their findings were damning. The DNA on the knife was too low in quantity and quality to be reliable. The bra clasp had been contaminated. No physical evidence definitively placed Amanda or Raphael at the scene. The appellate court overturned the convictions. Amanda collapsed in tears. After 4 years in prison, she was free. She flew home to Seattle, welcomed by a media frenzy and supporters holding signs that read, "Welcome home, Amanda." But the nightmare wasn't over. In 2013, Italy's Supreme Court Cassation overturned the acquittal. Another retrial was ordered. Amanda, now back in the U.S., refused to return to Italy. She was tried in absentia. In 2014, she and Raphael were convicted again. The back and forth shattered public confidence in the case. How could 2 people be convicted, acquitted, then convicted again, all while the man whose DNA was at the crime scene served his time quietly in the background? Finally, in 2015, the Supreme Court of Cassation issued a final ruling. Amanda Knox and Raphael Solicito were definitively acquitted. The court admitted that the case had been marred by stunning flaws, mismanagement, and unfounded assumptions. But by then, the damage had been done. Amanda had become a household name, not for anything she had done, but for what had been done to her. Her life had been ripped apart. Meredith's family, still grieving the loss of their daughter, had watched her memory become a backdrop to global spectacle. And Rudy Gede, the only person whose presence at the murder scene was undeniable, served 13 years and walked free in 2021. To this day, theories abound. Some insist Amanda knows more than she let on. Others believe the entire case was built on misogyny, media frenzy, and a justice system that put image over evidence. For Americans, the Amanda Knox case revealed a side of European justice that felt alien, where trials could stretch over a decade, where suspects could be convicted without a murder weapon, without motive, without physical evidence. In the U.S., innocence is presumed until proven guilty. In Italy, some say, the presumption is weaker and media narratives far stronger. What gets lost in the debate is Meredith Kercher. She was a 21-year-old student who loved reading, languages, and music. She had a warm laugh, a sharp mind, and a family who adored her. She had come to Italy to study the classics. She never made it home. Her death should have been the focus. Instead, it became a stage for sensational headlines, courtroom drama, and cultural clash. Justice, in its purest sense, was never truly served. And that is perhaps the greatest tragedy of all. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment with your thoughts. There's so much more to uncover from around the world. So stay tuned for more true crime stories you've never heard before.